A person's greatness is determined by their thoughts. This truth has been proven by people like Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, and Jeff Bezos. Napoleon Hill once said, "What do you think about, you become." But if that is true, why do so many struggle to succeed? Do they not think about their future, or do they fail to see their own potential? This story reveals the answer. At a busy railway station lived a beggar. Every day, he survived by asking passengers for coins. People rarely noticed him. Most turned away. Some frowned. He felt invisible. One afternoon, a well-dressed businessman stepped onto the platform. The beggar rushed forward, hand outstretched. "Sir, please, spare some change." The businessman looked at him carefully and asked, "Do you always take from others? Have you ever given anything to anyone?" The beggar was stunned. "No, sir. I have nothing to give. I am just a beggar," the businessman replied. "If you believe you have nothing to give, then you have no right to ask. I am a businessman. I believe in exchange. If you offer something, I can give you something in return. But if you offer nothing, I cannot give you anything either." With that, he boarded the train and left. The beggar stood frozen, his heart racing. The words echoed in his mind all night. If you believe you have nothing to give, you have no right to ask. For days, he couldn't beg. He sat quietly, thinking. On the third morning, his eyes fell on a patch of wildflowers near the tracks. Bright, beautiful, simple flowers. And suddenly, an idea struck him. What if, instead of only taking, I give something in return? He plucked a few flowers and held them gently. When someone gave him a coin, he smiled and offered a flower. The person paused, surprised, then smiled back. Another man gave him money. He gave a flower. The man's eyes soft. "Thank you." For the first time in years, people did not see a beggar. They saw a giver. His earnings doubled, then tripled. But more important than money, his dignity returned. One day, he saw the same businessman again. Excited, he ran forward. "Sir, today I have something to give. If you give me money, I will give you flowers." The businessman smiled. "Gabe im cash," and accepted the flowers. "You have understood the value of exchange. Today, you are no longer a beggar. You are a businessman." The beggar's heart filled with pride. That night, he whispered to himself, "I was never truly poor. I just needed to realize I had something to give." He never returned to the station as a beggar again. Months later, two men shook hands at the same station. One was the businessman. The other was the former beggar, now well-dressed, confident, running a flower business of his own. The businessman stared in surprise. You're the beggar I once met here." The man smiled. "Yes, that was me. But I am no longer a beggar. I run a successful flower business now. You taught me a great truth. We only receive when we give." The two men shook hands again. As echoes, life is shaped by how we see ourselves. If you believe you are small, you remain small. But if you recognize your inner potential, you can achieve greatness. Change your thoughts, and your future will change too. The beggar who once felt he had nothing discovered that by giving flowers, he could change his future. His life was no longer about taking. It became about giving, and that single shift transformed him from a beggar into a businessman. This isn't just a parable. In fact, one of the world's most famous entrepreneurs lived the very same truth. Howard Schultz, the man behind Starbucks, grew up in poverty in Brooklyn. His father was a truck driver who lost his job after an accident, leaving the family struggling for survival. Like the beggar, Howard felt invisible. He had nothing, but he realized something powerful. If he could give people more than coffee, if he could give them comfort, connection, and community, then the world would give back. At first, people doubted him. Banks rejected him. Investors laughed at the idea of coffee shops in America, but he held on to his vision. And just like the beggar with his flowers, Howard Schultz gave people something small, yet meaningful. That small idea grew into Starbucks, with over 30,000 stores across the world. He went from a poor boy in public housing to a billionaire businessman. Both stories prove the same truth. You only receive when you give.